And welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks, your host with the most, and today I'm super excited to chat with you about today's topic. However, before we get into today's topic, I want to give you some words from our sponsors. Can't sleep, got the aches and pains. Well, you got to check out the CBD oil, which is Amos tested. It's got a proven formula for aches and pains. You take it right before you go to bed. And you literally sleep like a baby. And for Framing New Heights listeners, you get 50% off at checkout, all by simply going into picking the size that you want, put it in the checkout cap locks. When it asks for that promo code, it's New Heights, and you get 50% off. That website you go to is superfungummies.com. That's superfungummies.com. And you can only access that promo code with the CBD oil. And let's jump in. So today's podcast is a lot about asking. Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever probably that you've never thought about in this particular way? So have you ever bought toilet paper? And when you buy toilet paper, you buy it almost every month, right? Right. And when you buy toilet paper, you buy paper towels, you buy tissues, you buy Band-Aids, you buy these random snacks, right? We just went to the store and I got stuff that it's going to eventually get thrown out. You buy candles and things that you just sometimes don't need. Maybe you do those Target runs, or for us, it's Meijer or wherever it might be, and you don't remember, right? Or even maybe some of those Amazon packages that you forgot you even ordered, right? So you literally spend hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars a month on things that you either flush down the toilet or throw out, or you've forgotten. And this is what this whole podcast is about today. It's about investing into your mind. And with the New Year's coming up right around the corner here, when this drops, your health, the holidays, etc. Not only investing with your mind, however, your health and in your healing, right, for your future. And suddenly I met with, and I hear this, I can't afford it, or I can't afford it right now, or not right now, or maybe next year, or things that say when things calm down. Have you used those, what I call excuses? Here's the uncomfortable truth I want to sit with you today is it's not that you don't want to spend money. It's that you don't believe in you are a safe place to invest it in. That is the issue right then and there. For those of you that don't know, my name is Michael Hicks. I'm the founder and owner of Live to Thrive, a coaching agency which builds you to become a better person in mind, body, and soul. I've got a holistic program. I've got many options for you to explore. I've got one-on-one coaching availability. I've got mastermind classes, and I have something that you can just go into a workshop and spend $24, and that can change your life within less than an hour of your day. You just got to go check out the bio, and all the information will be in my show notes as well. So welcome back to another episode of Framing New Heights, the podcast where we climb, we stretch, and we grow one mindset shift at a time. And like I've said, my name is Michael Hicks. I'm the founder of Live to Thrive Coaching. And today I really want to get real with you. I want to give you an unfiltered conversation about where we spend our money. And not only where you spend or where your money goes, what it reveals about your identity and why you trust the trash more than you trust a transformation. So this might sting a little bit today. It's purposely done that way because if this does, and you can listen to it all the way through the end of the podcast, you're going to realize that you have not been, or maybe you have not been investing in your transformation. So let's just, and I hope that this does resonate with you, and I think it will. So I want to set the frame for you for lack of better words here, is spending versus investing. Let's break that down for a second. So I want to be just very clear here and very honest for a moment. Is you often, and those of you that are listening to this, you often don't hesitate to buy toilet paper, maybe streaming subscriptions, maybe that DoorDash app, the drive-through at Starbucks or a coffee shop, right? The $80 that you spend that you went on DoorDash because you didn't have enough, quote unquote, if you're watching this on the live right now or the video, I'm doing air quotes, you didn't have enough time to cook. Or 3 things that you get at Target that you needed and 11 things that you did not. Wow, right? Let that sit in for a second. Or maybe you never sit in your car outside of Costco, crying in the parking lot because you're unsure if you're ready to buy paper towels. See where I'm going with this? Yet when it comes to a coaching program, implementation to be building a brand that can help you get a better job, be a better person, be a better father, or maybe a coursework that could change your finances. Or maybe with it being the New Year's and everybody does this. And you know that I was always taught that it was like, and I haven't looked at the statistics, but 78% of people that make New Year's resolutions fail within the first month. There's some people that say it's all the way up to 90. So, maybe, it comes to a fitness plan that could change your health, or maybe like a faith-based mentorship program, similar to what I do with my framework with Live to Thrive, that could really change your heart to be a better person. And suddenly it becomes a moral crisis, right? Like, is this the right time? How do you know you're going to wake up tomorrow? I want to tell you this story. I had a colleague of mine that I worked with for years, and the words were all, when we retire, we're gonna go traveling, we're gonna do all these things. Well, when that time, 2 years before that time came to retire, the significant other got cancer, and it was stage 4. I'm not going to give you what type of cancer, but so now instead of traveling, they are stuck in and granted, I'm just using this as an example about time. Is everybody says, oh, I'll get to it on Monday, or I'll get to it then. How do you know you're going to get that? I don't know if I can really justify this, right? I hear that as well. Like, well, maybe I didn't do a good enough job of telling you what the program solves, or what if this doesn't work, right? So you don't ask those questions when you buy something that you literally end up throwing in the garbage, right? And usually if you're going to buy toilet paper, let's just go in a little bit here. If you're going to buy toilet paper, you don't buy the one thin sheet, right? Because then you got to use more. You get the good stuff. I don't know the brand names, but you get the thick stuff, right? So today I want to ask you, what would happen if you redirected just a fraction, stick with me here, just a fraction of what you throw away into who you want to become, or to who you are already becoming? I want to give you a story here really quick about a client of mine who could afford everything except themselves. And this, I want to break this down for you. And we're just going to use the client's name. We're going to just say her name was Sarah. Sarah had, what did she have? She had the SUV. She had the house decor. She had the perfect Instagram pantry, right? Her kids were in all these activities. She had the latest iPhone, right? She did the weekly runs at Target. However, if you looked at her life from the outside, it was absolutely fine, right? It was absolutely fine. However, when I finally had the opportunity to jump on a journey call with her, I just asked, how are you? Like, really? She broke down and she said the following, and I'm not reading verbatim. I'm going to just kind of tell you. Michael, I feel like I'm slowly disappearing in my own life. Do you feel like that? That endless merry-go-round, right? Where you're constantly doing things. And she continued to talk about saying, I'm just exhausted. I snap at my kids. I'm numb with my husband. I don't feel like there's a connection. And every night I tell myself, like, hey, I'll figure it out tomorrow and things will just calm down. And you know what happens? They never do. So she spent these years funding everything around her except for investing in herself. Powerful words, right? And I see this, I hear this in casual conversations through friends of friends, through in relationships of people that are constantly doing this. And when you talk about coaching with someone, she said the thing so many people say. Are you ready? This blows my mind when I say this. It feels selfish to spend that kind of money on myself. Altruism. I just did a reel on this where you want to help everybody else except yourself. I talked about this recently and I'm not going to repeat it, but I'll just say this really quick. I was stumbling and walking outside on a really cold day and I saw a gentleman that obviously was homeless, and I had a calling in my head of like, man, I got to do something for this man. So I reach in my wallet and I give him the money and I make a short conversation with him, and his snot in his nose is literally frozen because he's been outside so long. And it's easier for me to give money to that random stranger that I didn't even know to buy a gym bag for myself that I have for literally 15 years where the zippers are broken. So I do understand the concept here is where, but I want to also share this with you. If you are pouring from an empty cup, you can never be your best self. You can never be your best self for your family, for your kids, for your job, for your relationship with your significant other. So here's what happened. Let me call that out with love. What I just talked about, I want to call it out with love. All right. You don't think you're selfish when you upgrade your phone. You don't think you're selfish when you spend $150 at a restaurant. You don't think you're selfish when you buy things that go in drawers and closets or trash cans. However, when it comes to your mental health, your emotional stability, your physical health, your spiritual alignment, and your ability to show up even present as a grounded human being in a relationship for your kids, for your significant other, for your job, suddenly it's just too expensive. I've been in education for a long time, and that's not math. That's a belief system error. It's a belief problem. So I want to break this down a little bit for you. Live to Thrive. I just don't coach people's habits. I coach their identity. So until you believe this is the major issue that I run into. Until you believe you are more valuable than your purchases, you will always stay stuck in the same cycle. And I'm going to go in here. You're cheap on yourself. You do the self-care, right? You do the Botox, or you do the clothes, and you get your hair done, you get your nails done. That's a part of it that's tiny. I like to almost call those sometimes expensive, an expense on your distractions, because you're truly not. You may look good on the outside, but what's going on the inside? So I want to do this for a second. The trash math, what your bank statement is telling you. All right. So let's talk about numbers for a second here. Not exactly. Just stick with me here. Just like some energy here. If you added up all the fast food, all the impulse buying on Amazon, the Starbucks runs, the alcohol that you consume, the random Target walks or whatever it might be, just for the last 90 days. I just challenge you right now. Just do that for the last 90 days. Would that total go to $500? Would it go to $1,000? Or how about even $2,000 or even more? The crazy part about what I just said, if I told you, hey, I've got a 90-day systematic program for $999 that will reset your health, your mind, and your energy and get you more time back with your schedule, set up quality boundaries. You know what people's first reactions would be? I don't have that kind of money right now. I'm literally scratching my head for those of you that are just getting the audio here is you've silently leaked that amount or more in a quarter into things that you left them. Like heavier, you're heavy. You have things that have been feeling heavy in your life. You're more tired, you're more anxious, and you have no more alignment than you had the day before. And your bank account is a mirror. It reveals what you believe about. It believes about it values what you allow to have, what you are allowed to receive, and then it also reveals what you are allowed to heal. And I'm not saying don't go buy coffee, because we all do. Don't go buy snacks, and don't go buy toilet paper. Well, I mean, you could, what do they call that? A bidet or whatever. You could do that. However, but just stick with me here. You're of course you're going to use those things. I'm not saying let me tell you crystal clear what I'm saying though. Why is your trash can getting consistent deposits when your future is getting the leftovers? You ever think of it from that perspective? I'm going to grab a drink and let you marinate on that. Why we fund the trash, tissues, toilet paper. You buy stuff to throw in the garbage, right? And you're starving your soul. That's the real why. Well, let's go even deeper, all right? Why is it easy to spend on consumables and so hard to invest on transformation? I had to pull up some statistics on this because I don't understand this concept. There are 3 big reasons from what I've seen throughout my coaching program and also for what I researched is I see over and over again through my coaching. Here we go. Trash spending is emotionally safe. I feel so safe, Michael, in my little bubble. Buying toilet paper, buying the chips, Netflix and chill, DoorDash. It doesn't ask anything from you except what? Your money. Your money. And there's no identity cost. There's no emotional risk. And no one is going to ask you to, A, confront that trauma. B, change those patterns. C, take responsibility, and then go on and on. Also setting boundaries, the feel your feelings kind of thing. You just swipe aimlessly, or you consume, and you move on. Now, coaching isn't different. Transformation is different. All right. So when you invest, as you're getting ready into this new year, when you can invest in yourself and have to look in the mirror and say this, and I use this often with my clients. Turn this part up. I'm choosing to grow, which means I'm choosing to stop, drum roll please, lying to myself. Oh my gosh. And you do it to your kids. Your kids see what kind of person you are. That's scary. You don't understand the perpetual, endless, vicious cycle that you are sending on as a parent to your kids or even your significant other. I'm going to start that gym workout. I just heard the whole story. Anybody listen to Jelly Roll's recent story? And I want to share this with you because I think it's really prudent here. This dude's lost like 300 pounds. Like I may be exaggerating a little bit on the weight, but he would constantly tell his family that he was on this. I'm going to start my workout tomorrow, right? The day that he started, this is a little bit inspirational. He was just on Joe Rogan, and that's why I heard some of this, and I want to share this with you. It's a pretty cool story here. And whether you're a Jelly Roll fan or not doesn't really matter. It's the premise of the story, which I want to tell you, is so the day comes where it's his day now to transform. I use the word transform, right? And his family has heard him in the past say he's going to start this diet. He's going to change his lifestyle. And this dude was a big man, right? And I don't say that meanly, right? So day comes. It's raining cats and dogs outside. And he's supposed to go for a run. And I don't remember what it was, but it probably was, but to get some steps in, right? And his little daughter says, Daddy, it's okay. Why don't you just go on the treadmill downstairs? And he's thinking to himself, well, I've been lying to you guys my whole life. And they get so accustomed, your family gets so accustomed to you lying to them that they then live that lie to build your security. Does that make sense? So let me go on to tell a story here. So, and he's like, gosh, I cannot. So this whole story changed his entire life, which is so beautiful. So he gets up, and he finally gets outside. It's raining cats and dogs, like literally pouring rain. He goes for his run. And he's gone for how many amount of time? I don't know. I don't remember the logistics. So let's say 20 minutes, 15 minutes, right? He's on his way back. He's got this big steep of a driveway that he's going up. His family is outside in the rain, cheering him on. I think it's such a beautiful story and a beautiful tie-in on what I'm telling you is invest in yourself, because when you begin to invest in yourself, your family doesn't have to lie for you. So he said from that moment on, he knew. And then you see his wonderful, beautiful transformation. It's just a beautiful story. Check out his before and after pictures. I think they're amazing. Kudos to the coach that he's working with, because there's no way you can do that on your own. The next thing I want to talk about is the reason why, big reasons why what I see over and over again on why people are spending money on consumables versus spending money on transformations. The second one is you don't believe you're a good investment. I'll say that. You don't believe. I so have struggles with this because I see this often in public, and I'm one of the most, I'm very hard on myself. I am. I have high standards for myself. I have discipline standards. So when I don't see other individuals meeting my standards, I struggle. And then I start to judge, and then I start to label. So, and that's something that I have constantly been working on. But when I talk to my therapist about this, it's because you have such a high standard and you want everybody to meet your standard. And anybody who doesn't meet your standard is you then begin to judge. And that's not an unhealthy thing or a healthy thing. It's just who you're wired and programmed to be. But let me get back to the reason why you don't believe that you're a good investment. When I get on these journey calls, some individuals have told me directly or indirectly that I'm too much, that they also say that they're not enough, they always mess things up, and that they're the problem. So it comes time to invest in yourself. Here's what happens to your brain. Your brain says, why would I put money into something that's always failing? Ooh, I'm preaching, right? How do you always fail yourself? Start there. Don't go with your family. Don't go with your job. Don't go with your relationships. Start there. It's a simple question. Your brain says, why would I keep putting money into something that I always continue to fail? That's not truth. You know what it is? It's your trauma speaking. The third one, you don't trust change. Change has hurt you before, right? It's the old school saying, oh, I'm not going to date this person because they cheated on me. Well, I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to date this female because all females are bad, because that one person cheated on you. You started a program and maybe you didn't finish it. Or maybe you started a journey, a transformation journey where you lost some weight and then you gained it back. Or maybe you trusted someone and they dropped you like a bad habit. Or maybe you shared your heart with someone and they used it as a weapon against you. So now protect yourself by staying in this almost, so this is what you do. You stay in this almost comfortable misery, right? And you say this all like you're more comfortable to be in this misery. I hear and see this in relationships where people have not had intimate physical connection for years, but they stay in it because it's comfortable misery. Oh, but they use rationalizational terms of like, well, things could be worse. Oh, however, this is okay. Is it though? So, and I say this all the time inside my Live to Thrive coaching is I say your nervous system would rather stay in familiar hell than walk towards unfamiliar heaven. Is that resonating with you right now? Are you like, wow? Here's the second story I want to share with you. Well, she was a female, the woman who expected change without change. So I had a client, and I'm not gonna give you the name. I'm gonna give you her false name. Her false name is Rebecca. Rebecca came to me overwhelmed, working long hours, emotionally drained, using food to cope, waking up exhausted and tired, going to bed wired. She said to me, this was something, and I put it down in my show notes. So let me pull them up here. She said this specifically to me. She said, Michael, I want to feel like myself again. I want more energy. I want to like my body again, and I want to stop snapping on everyone. So we talked, and then we went into a deep conversation, and I laid out my framework, and it wasn't even the how. It just was the what and the why and what she needed to shift. So then we get to the part where everyone gets nervous about is the investment piece, right? So she froze, and she didn't freeze because she didn't see the value. And she didn't freeze due to the fact that she didn't trust me. Because there was a stigma, a belief deep underneath the surface. And that was, I don't believe I'm allowed to be that well. That's the problem. Do you see where I'm going here? And like, that's the real thing. Some of you face your own wholeness more than you fear your pain. And if you actually want healing, write this down. Stop blaming your past. Stop hiding behind the victim mentality. Stop it. Victim mentality is your journey of success goes to die. You cannot stay small and call it humility. You just cannot. You have to stop. Let me say this. You have to step into responsibility. What responsibility have you given to yourself? Don't say I pay the bills. I do. What responsibility are you doing for yourself so that you can live a long, healthy life? What responsibility have you done to step into leadership? And we're all leaders. Every single one of you are a leader in some capacity. Men, I'm speaking to you. If you are married and you're in a house, you're the leader of that household. And how are you leading? And you have to step into a calling. That's a big thing that has happened to me over this past year. What is your calling? Like I struggled for that for years to find my purpose. And then I found my calling. And that's why you keep funding trash. You know why? The trash doesn't ask you to rise. That toilet paper that you just buy to wipe your, you know what? It's not asking you to rise. It's not asking you to change. It's asking you to throw in the garbage. Interesting perspective, right? Interesting thoughts. So I want to transition here into the faith lens. And I think this is really prudent to the coaching sequence. It's this. Even God doesn't microwave growth. All right. Stick with me on what I mean here. Let's talk about the faith component here. Spend a little time on this perspective. We expect, I would hope most of us do, we expect God to heal us, to restore us, to bless us, right? Yet we want all of that without participating in the process. And this was me. I would call myself a follower of Christ, a Christian, but I was Christian-esque. I was lukewarm. I only would maybe go to church once a month, twice a month, or watch it online once or twice a month. And it's being in the Word every single day. And then you want these blessings and this abundant stuff to change your life, but you're not spending. You're not worshiping and giving Him praise 12 times a day in 12 different ways. You pray over bills, right? Yet your spending hasn't changed. You pray over your health. However, you don't move your body. You pray over your mindset, yet you never change the input or select quality boundaries in your lifestyle. And you've looked at scripture, right? Maybe you just have that Bible app that just shows the Bible verse of the day. That's a great start for novice people. It is. You know, God often partners with people in these three areas. If you have someone that's in your life, hold on to them, because what I'm about to tell you, these three principles, I think, really are a guiding light in the right direction. Number one, obedient. Number two, takes action. And number three, has courage. Courage to stand up when you have naysayers and evildoers that do things to want to destroy you, and you know who you are as a person. And when you can hold on, and I'll say those three things again, because these are good quality traits and partners for people. It's obedience, it's action, and it's courage. And when you have those, if you just have one person in your life that is just doing the praying, doing the leading, God will still bless you. And what's interesting is he multiplies, like it talks about this in the Bible, is he multiplies loaves and fish of bread that are brought to him. You remember that whole parable story where they didn't have enough to feed and they got the blessing to feed them. He heals people that reach out to him as well. But just let me be really clear on this though, and don't just ask him when you need something. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us just want to ask when we're just in still like, oh, I need to ask him, but you haven't done the gratitude daily. You haven't been praying to him daily. You haven't been blessing others in prayer daily. You haven't been reading the scripture. You haven't been in praising him in 12 different ways, 12 different times during the day. That's a hard one to do. I've attempted to do that. And he just opens the doors for people that walk towards him. So when you talk about investing in coaching, or let's say I talk about investing in coaching or growth or live to thrive, this is what it's not. You're not replacing God with self-help. What you're doing is you're partnering. I believe that with my Live to Thrive framework is I'm a vessel that I partner with God, who's already attempting me to help to do what is right for other people. Through my pain, I help you discover your purpose. So, you know, you can pray each day for peace, right? And you never, and here's the thing, you never receive the tools Maybe you never received the tools to regulate your nervous system or renew your mind or set those quality boundaries. And you're going to stay in what I call spiritual theory with no emotional practice. And I want better than what you want for yourself. I'm not the right coach for you then. You have to first of all want the better. Every time when someone asks me, and this takes people off guard, is they'll ask me, hey, how are you doing today? I'm blessed by the best. Another day. You're blessed? Yeah, I'm blessed. And a lot of people don't have the courage to ask me. Well, I've had a few ask me. Yeah, it's a day I got to live another day. I just had a good friend of mine who's younger than I am, 10, 12 years younger than I am, just had a minor heart attack. I had another person a year or two ago that was a colleague of mine, died of a heart attack. You don't understand the blessing that you get to give each day that you live on this planet. But you got to believe that you're better than what you are asking of yourself. Michael, what's going to happen if I don't do anything? The cost of doing nothing. The future, the casting of your pain. Let's fast forward a little bit on this. If you change nothing and you stumbled onto my podcast today, if you change nothing about how you spend your money, how you organize your time, how you cope with stress, how you deal with relationships, how you value yourself, what is your life going to look like 6 months from now? Visualize that for a second. Visualization is a big key in my programming. How about 1 year from now? Better yet, how about 5 years from now? If you change nothing. If you do, let's say, do you weigh the same or do you weigh more? Ooh, I went against the grain there. Or, ready for this? Ready for this one? Or do you feel more at peace? Or do you have more anxiety? How about this? I have a deeper connection with my significant other or my spouse or a relationship. Maybe it's your kiddo. Or do you have more resentment towards them? Here's another big one. Do you love your work? Or do you dread your days? It's a hard one to swallow because some of us like, well, I got bills to pay. I get it. I know. Or let me ask you this one. Do you ever feel close enough to God, your creator? Or are you distant because you're guilty? You don't drift into thriving, you all. That just doesn't happen. You drift into depletion. And hear me when I say this. Not choosing is still a choice. And it's the most expensive one you can make. And this is exactly why I coach identity. I coach mindset. I coach body transformation. I coach scheduling, time management, boundaries, spiritual alignment, and they're all connected. That's what's so great. You get this whole nice bundle in a shift just for you. Now, inside my Live to Thrive brand, there's 3 big pillars that I want to break down for you. Okay. Number 1 is who are you becoming? That's your identity piece. The second one is how you're living daily. That is your alignment piece. And then the third one is where your energy and your time and your money are going. That's the action plan. I just don't say, believe in yourself. I'll ask you these 3 things. Ready? I'll say, why don't you? Or who told you not to? And why did you agree with them? My agency just doesn't say, use your time better. What I'll say is, I'll ask you to say things like, or I'll ask you this, is why do you keep prioritizing everybody else? Why are you afraid What will you be afraid of if you happen to stop that piece? And I just don't say invest in yourself. I'll ask, why does spending $200 on junk feel easier than investing in your own process, in your change, in your healing, in your health, in your wellness, your mindset, career? I'm not going to give you the full how on today's podcast here. And that's what my Live to Thrive coaching is for. And if you want more information on that, you can simply go to michael@livetothrive.com. You can email me there. I'll send you over a questionnaire to see if I'm a good fit. If I'm a good fit, then I will then get you on a 1-hour journey call where I'll break down your problems into solutions that will benefit you, and you have a framework, and you can walk away with absolutely some monumental pieces. What's so important is it's shaped around your story. It's shaped around your nervous system. It's shaped around your responsibilities, and most importantly, your faith and your wiring. I don't want you to understand the what and the why. You are already investing. The question is into the what. Into trash? How about this? Temporary comfort? How about distractions? Or tools that really work? Or transformation that really works? Or a future version of you that your kids will thank you later? That's the choice. Trash or tools? Which one are you picking? Here's my challenge for you today. So as you get into the holidays and into the New Year's, and you stumble on my podcast, hopefully you're a subscriber. If you have not been a subscriber, please do so. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Framing New Heights. Or you can go to Spotify and just give us a 5-star rating. Tell us how much we're doing, what you like, what you don't like. You can also email us too. Give us some show ideas, etc. Is the next time you say, I cannot afford coaching, or the next time you say is, I cannot invest in this program, or the next time you say, I don't have money for growth, I want you to open up your bank account or your bank app, look at the 30 days of transactions, and ask yourself honestly, do I really not have it? Or have I not decided that I'm worth it? Toilet paper will always be part of your budget. I'll say that again. Toilet paper will always be part of your budget. Social transformation. I'll leave you with this today before we end the podcast, is you're not called to live on clearance in your own life while paying full price for everything that keeps you numb. If something in you is tired of funding the trash, living everybody else's life except yourself, and you're ready to start your future with your peace, your health, your alignment, your identity, this podcast should nudge you. And you can contact me at Live to Thrive. It'll be all in the show notes. My bio and information is there. You can message me. I also gave you my email. Again, it's michael@livetothrive.com. You can apply for my coaching. You can step into something that finally matches the future you keep saying you want. However, it's something, and maybe it's with me, or if I'm not the right fit for you, find someone else, please. But hear this. Just stop treating yourself like the last line item. You're not leftovers, y'all. You're the foundation. The piece that builds good things. You deserve better. My name is Michael Hicks. I'm your host with the most. Until the next time, keep Framing New Heights as your #1 podcast and keep thriving to become the best version of yourself. And as always, 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And always stay flexed.